It says we're live, but maybe we're live another day. Oh, welcome to 00 Deep Dive, Pop Culture Pro's home for everything James Bond 007. Thank you for joining us, whether you're catching us on Facebook Live or YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or wherever you get your media. If you're listening to it later on Spotify, thank you very much. I, as always, am your host, Jason 006 Fashetic, here to stir up some trouble. And with me, as always, Tippy the Iceberg.
Tippy the Iceberg.
Jimmy Lawler Harmon, how are you today?
Hi, I'm good. I have a baby. I have my own Miranda. This is my daughter, Miranda. Our Bond girl. One of our Bond girls is named Miranda. So it's kind of fitting. So she's good. She's sleeping. She'll be fine.
Awesome. That's all right. Look, Finn will jump on every time we're doing a show in the afternoon and Finn's awake. He jumps on. I got him on Granny's one time to say Batman and Joker.
I love that he knows those words. My daughter's obsessed. My other daughter's obsessed with Blue's Clues. So that cinematic universe is happening. So we're ready for that, for the Blue's Clues cinematic universe.
Oh, I can't wait for that. And a man who knows everything about the Blue's Clues cinematic universe, because he knows a little bit of everything about everything. The best damn quartermaster this side of MI6, Eddie E. Branch Camus. How are you today, sir?
What is up, everybody? What's going on?
Nothing much.
It's good to be back on Wednesdays at 8:30 doing another show.
It's true. It's true. I missed Wednesdays. It feels like home.
It does. It does feel homey.
Oh, so I'm excited, guys. Talk about Die Another Day. That we usually don't talk too much about the movie beforehand, but we were really like going at it in the chat. I think all three of us are excited one way or another to talk about this movie.
Yeah. For sure. I had an interesting experience with it.
But before we get into it, before we start, as always, I mean, like we started this, 2 weeks ago? I'm going to read through Die Another Day lyrics. And you guys just stop me when you have an idea of how this might relate to the movie.
All right.
I'm going to wake up, yes and no. I'm going to kiss some part of. I'm going to keep this secret. I'm going to close my body now. I guess I die another day, like for a bunch of times. And then Sigmund Freud analyzed this.
I think I'm already in. I'm buzzing in already.
All right. What do we got?
We're talking about Graves, man. We're talking about Graves and covering his body, and he's opening his body. And I even think he even says something about Sigmund Freud or some shit at some point. Maybe not. I mean, I don't know what's going on with this guy. He's a jackass. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's about, we got Graves going on there. Anything else, Tippy?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I was gonna say, I think I thought it was Bond at first. I was like, I was too busy jamming out to the song because I like Madonna. But I think I thought it was like, oh, Bond, because he's like, look, he's surviving all of his previous missions. But I think you're right. I think it is Graves.
It has to be Graves.
It has to be.
Yeah. The only alternative I would offer is, but I actually like it being Graves way more. But I thought it was about his literally Bond's torture for those 14 months.
I mean, that's a good point. I think this the first time that we've gotten an opening, or not the opening, but like the titles, where it's a mix of like the random dancing and stuff like that, but we're actually getting the movie continuing.
Yeah. I
don't recall that at any other point.
No.
Which I thought was interesting. I actually totally forgot about that. I know that the torturing, I remember that happening, but I don't remember it happening during the actual song and everything. That was actually kind of cool, though.
That's what I know.
Yeah, cool.
I actually, it's funny. So we'll talking about like we'll skip the cold open for now. We'll talk about the credits. I actually thought it was super interesting this time around because I watched it like through an analytical mode, which I have never watched this movie before, and I went, oh, wait a minute. This is like Bond is slipping in and out of like a torture fever dream.
Oh,
So like every
Okay.
time you see like the dancing women and all that stuff, that's him hallucinating through his torture. And every time we come back, that's him coming back to it. And so like I actually really did like it after I kind of put that together.
now if a Daniel Craig movie did that, we would be like genius Oscar nominations,
Right.
brilliant analysis. Could you imagine a Daniel Craig movie where he's getting the testicle torture and Lady Gaga is like playing simultaneously,
God.
cutting in between? Like that's what this is kind of. And I was like, I couldn't take my eyes away from it because I was like, I remember being like 13 watching this movie the first time, going like, all right, James Bond movie, I'm excited, and it being like, what the hell is this? And kind of like oh, I don't want to watch torture, and like this is so weird to me. And now I'm like, oh my god, like I was watching like Riveted just by Madonna playing underneath, and then yeah, the torture meets ladies, you know, lady magic.
Lady magic. And something else I clocked too, and it was I don't know if it means anything, but again, because again, I've said these things are like fever dreams. I just copy down what I can remember. But there is a woman like in those fever dreams that like come out like one is fire, one is ice, one is water, one's electricity or something like that.
Wow.
So they're even going through like different elements. I don't know. It was really it was super interesting to watch.
Well, now in hindsight, I mean, that's kind of everything that's in play in this movie. I mean, maybe not fire so much, but like electricity, definitely, and then
For sure. And the ice.
and ice, and water
Yeah,
torture.
that's true.
Yeah. What if all the openings are Bond fever dreams?
I love that theory
I
so
do
much
too.
now. I just want to picture like scenarios, or like when he's at his worst through the movie, then he has like a fever dream.
I don't want him getting the torture from that whole thing. That's too much. I might
Yeah.
like I can watch
Yeah.
Saw. I can watch
Right.
like Hostel.
Same.
We're not doing that.
But I want to know,
I'm
but
drawing
like
the line somewhere.
one of those fever dreams is because Bond goes to rehab and he stopped drinking.
Right,
he's
it's detoxing.
It could be for anything.
He's got a bad case of the herpes. He's sitting out.
Sometimes he just might be drunk.
Oh, there you go. There you go. So the cold open to Die Another Day, guys. We start, and I forgot, Ed. I remember, of course, the infamous surfing scene, which we'll get to, but I forgot that this movie starts
With surfing.
with surfing.
And I thought that's what you guys were talking about. I was like, this doesn't seem
No.
that bad.
No.
It's like this looks all kind of like norm. I don't know, rote.
So-
like
So you know something? You know what scene I was referring to
Yeah.
the entire time.
yeah.
And that's a whole nother story, and we'll get to that. But the fact that I actually didn't recall them sort of setting that up
yeah,
in the cold open. That I didn't remember. And when I saw it, I'm like, holy shit, these motherfuckers set this up. I'm
Yeah.
like, it still doesn't help it,
No.
but at least there was something there to like. He actually
you
wrote
into it.
something in. Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit more clever than we gave it credit for. Not
Is it-
much, just a bit.
Yes,
check off
I mean,
surfing. Check off
Yeah.
surfing.
Bond can surf, just so later on
So
you
we all
know
know.
he has surfing experience. Okay, maybe not as much as Point Break or anything like that, but he has some surfing experience. Not like Johnny
Well,
Utah. Let's not
He's
get
not
crazy.
an FBI agent, guys.
No, but sometimes Bond will take two. Uh huh.
So, but guys, I've never been in North Korea. I've only been to the
Oh.
Korean airport, so I can't speak much to it. But can you really just infiltrate Korean borders by surfing?
No idea. No idea.
I don't think so.
What
I'm
I'm
gonna
kind
say
of
no.
confused. Were you all not a little confused by the whole how he got in there?
Yes, I was very confused.
Seemed a little easy.
Were they expecting him though? Was this
Yes.
like
They surf in, and then we like literally 15 seconds in, we get our first Q branch, which I guess is indicative of this James Bond run, in particular this movie.
Yeah.
But like they have a surfboard with gadgets and C4 and this stuff, and then like they kind of just electro hack their way through something, and a helicopter lands. It's the Conflict Diamond Smuggler, and they just like go, "I'm the Diamond Smuggler now," taking sunglasses.
Look at me. I'm the captain now.
Right.
It kind of did seem like that. He just like smirked at him and was like,
Yes.
"Yeah, I'm just taking your suit and that's it.
Although
I'm the guy."
so charming, so great.
I mean,
Yeah.
look, let's get this out of the way. I still love Pierce Brosnan as
too.
James Bond. He's
So
still
do
my
I.
number 2.
I said, is he the most charming Bond? Question mark. Of
I
this,
think
of,
he is.
of the whole, because easy, effortless, all of it, right?
Yeah.
I just had that
Yeah.
note from the beginning because just that movement was like, so good. Something to think about, everybody, when we're.
Oh, yeah.
When we get to the end, yes.
I'm going to add that in because next week we're going to debrief and we're going to talk a crazy movie. So I'm going to add that in, like when we debrief, we talk about the most charming Bond, like when we start our rankings. So I love that, Ginny. All right, so we get like the bad guy set up, which I never get his name. I just know him as General Moon's son.
Right. Moon.
Like-
he's Colonel Moon? Or no,
Colonel
what's he?
Moon?
I just have him as Moon. I also know him as the detective from Witchblade, that TV show from TNT from like years ago. So I kept
he's
calling
in that.
him
Cool.
detective from Witchblade. But yeah, Moon. I just call him Moon too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he was just Moon.
They didn't really give much thought to it,
No.
which is a shame because I actually like this actor and I wish they would have kept him as the bad guy,
Yeah, same.
like the actor.
Yeah.
But like, so he's in his compound, his father's compound, General Moon, and he's there. We meet him, and he's like, this is actually a badass opening, like to a villain. He's like kicking the hell, doing like kickboxing to this bag,
yeah.
and you think like he's sparring, and it's like his tutor because he
Yeah.
opens it up and says, "How dare you lecture me? Get me another teacher."
Psycho. We love a good psycho. We love a psycho villain, like a pure psycho.
For sure. No, for sure. That's why I watched this because I forgot about that and I went, wow, all right, this is a villain right here. This is someone I want to follow. And then we get Bond comes in. They have this whole back and forth about I've got your conflict diamonds. I need the weapons. They have this really cool thing which does pay off later on, very shortly on, where they have hovercrafts that go over the minefield in the demilitarized zone. And then but then things go like from it just a snap of a finger. They get a text like, "Hey, that's James Bond." Look at his face. And
I want to say something, by the way.
yeah, please.
This was long overdue.
Right.
The fact that nobody's ever recognized James Bond before, and he doesn't even usually try to hide his name either. In so many movies, he just shows up and he's like, he does the whole Bond.
He's not good
James
at disguises. He doesn't do disguises. Doesn't do accents.
No,
Not
not at
really.
all. No, not really. I mean, he in The World Is Not Enough, he was a Russian.
He was Russian a little bit.
Yeah, for like 10 minutes, and
Yeah.
pretty much that was about it. I am actually glad that he finally got caught with this bullshit on him. As much as I love Bond, it was long overdue. Technology caught up to him. Facial recognition caught up to him.
I agree. I think
It's
that was,
insane that didn't happen earlier.
like we can understand the 1960s when you have
Oh,
to
yeah.
fax
No-
over a pixelated, but now you're right that this should have happened movies ago.
Exactly. And then maybe force him to start wearing disguises or something. But,
Yeah.
they
Fake
saved
nose,
that for the
something.
MIF instead to do their masks and stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
right. Yeah, they don't want to mess with Mission Impossible. They that's a different
No.
franchise.
Yeah.
But I actually love what Moon does here because he gets this information. He's like, oh wait, did I ever show you this? I'll show you this. Isn't this really cool? Isn't this bitchin'? And he just like points it at Bond's helicopter and blows it to hell.
Yeah.
I thought that was that was a badass opening move by the villain.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was just like, now you can't leave. Now
Yeah.
you're done. That's it.
And then that whole hovercraft chase over landmines to the demilitarized zone where Pierce Brosnan shooting at landmines to blow
Yeah.
guys,
Pretty great.
This
Yeah.
might be like not my favorite opening to one of these Pierce Brosnan movies because that's GoldenEye because that's an awesome.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I think this is definitely the most exciting opening.
I got. That's why I said I got GoldenEye vibes on like crack because it was.
Yeah.
I don't know, military and secret. Obviously, it's a mission. And I was just like, but except it got crazier. And again, I kind of stopped taking notes a lot during this movie because I'm just fascinated and like I was like riveted. Oh my gosh, so much.
Ed, what'd you think about this as a cold open?
No, you're right. It was pretty exciting. I was pretty locked in through all of it after we got past the surfing.
Yeah,
I think I was traumatized by the surfing, and no, everything else is pretty awesome though. General Colonel Moon and his whole pulling out a missile launcher and stuff, and then the landmines and everything. Pretty cool, man. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, no, I absolutely for sure. And I guess like I'm kind of coming in going like I don't hate this movie. Like I don't think this is the greatest Bond movie ever made, but there's a lot of hate on the internet for this movie. So I think that's why I'm coming in kind of defensive, like, but come on, guys, this happened.
I came in hating on this movie, but I think it was because it was the early 2000s, and I have a lot of like Vin Diesel Triple X vibes tied to this movie, if that makes sense. Like that's the vibe that,
Right.
and now I love every Fast and the Furious movie that comes out. Like honestly, I recognize it. But for this movie, I was like, I want my Bond movies to be like GoldenEye and to be like classier, or like that was the kind of attachment that I had to Bond. When, of course, like Roger Moore is all nutso, and I had been watching those, so I don't know why I didn't give this a chance. I think I wanted my Pierce Brosnan Bond movies to be more, but now that's complicated because I didn't remember this movie at all. There's certain things I remember going, oh, well, that wasn't that bad, or oh, that makes sense, or that wasn't as nuts, or that is as nuts as I remember.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie is before we get into details, I remember it being completely insane.
Yeah.
And it definitely lived up to it. Let's see though. I guess there was hate on the internet for it, but I don't hate this movie either. I don't know it's because I've just experienced some much lesser Bonds. And at least this one I had fun with it. When I first saw it in the theater, I liked it. Because I was just like, whatever. I mean, it's a Bond. We didn't have Daniel Craig yet.
No.
Yeah.
So at that time, I was just like, all right, give me some wacky plot and stuff, and just give me some action, some cool moments, and you got a passable Bond movie. But I think it's because we watched Daniel Craig now, and now we're going back to this, and we saw what Bond can be and what it is now, and now we're looking back on it as like, this is insane, this is crazy. But at the time, not as much. Right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll be honest. I saw this in the theater and I enjoyed it because it was fun Bond. I had issues with it, and I still have those same issues. We'll get into it when we go into detail. But I gained, and then I was like, okay, yeah, this movie's fine. I'm not really big into it. And then again, I watched some of those Roger Moore ones, and I know I always say this, but like, watch Moonraker and then watch this, and this is gonna seem like Laurence Olivier. I mean,
oh my gosh, no, very comparable. I have a lot of it's comfortingly cliche though. Sometimes to me, there's a line that he says that I genuinely cackled at, and not because it's a funny line, just because it's like, what a cliche thing for Bond to say, or like what a spy movie to say or do. That's like later in the movie.
So let's talk about Bond, since this is wait, we didn't weigh in on the song. So real quick, because I don't want to, like, what do you guys think of the Madonna song that we get for this?
I like it as a Madonna song. I don't like it as a Bond song.
Yeah.
I have like nostalgia for this song, but I'm like not as a Bond song. But I was like at the credits, I was like dancing. I was like dun, dun, na, na, na.
I could see that. Ed?
I actually dug it. I didn't think I was going. I remembered it, and I remember being catchy and stuff like that. So I was like, oh yeah, I haven't heard this since when did this come out? 2003, 2002, or something like that.
2, I think. Yeah, 2002.
2, right? I'm like, I probably haven't heard it since like then, or maybe the year after that. I was like, oh yeah, I remember this totally. No, I kind of dug it, to tell you the truth, and I think for the time, I like it as a Bond song for its time. Not as a classic Bond song by any stretch of the imagination. I agree with that. But I don't know. It kind of worked. It works for this movie. For what we get in this movie and what they're going for, it kind of really does work. Her cameo is
Yeah, well, I will. That's a separate conversation.
Yeah,
we're gonna
say
talk.
that. But
Yeah,
was just...
we got to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, I like this song. Like, I'm with you, Ed. Like, it's not like a classic Shirley Bassey like Bond song, but it's like it is definitely a 2002 Bond theme song. Like, if you were making this movie, which they were in 2002, this is the song you'd go for. So, and it's catchy. It's got like a dance beat to it. It's probably my least favorite of the four of Brosnan's, but it's fun. I like it. All right, so now let's get into James Bond, because we have Pierce Brosnan in his last foray into the Bond franchise. And I want to, do you guys, before we talk about him and what he does here, do you guys think that he had another one in him? Do you think like this was obviously the end of the line for, and no disrespect intended, by the way, because I think it takes a lot to be able to say this is it. Roger Moore never did that. Ooh, shots. So, Ed, do you think he realistically made the right choice was made? Do you think he had another one in him?
I think he could have done it. I think that looking at these four movies, they start off in one place with GoldenEye, and it gradually gets to this kind of extremely over the top, or like Jenny described, almost like Fast and the Furious over the top insanity, which I'll accept more in a Bond movie, because we're talking about gadgets and stuff like that versus whatever's going on over there. So I kind of felt like if they had another one, how much further were they going to go before they really turned it into like a cartoon? I think it just depends where the studio wanted to go. And I think before you make the choice that they made to totally reboot for the first time ever, then it was a smart move to make this the last one for him. And he was also getting up there a little bit. I don't remember how old he was when he did this film, but I can kind of see where he was, getting on the older side. So maybe this was the right choice. I think he totally would have done it, and I really enjoy his Bond a lot. But I also am going to say that we'll talk about it more in detail next week. But I think he deserved better for the four films that he did.
Yeah, agreed.
No, I agree with that. I think mostly because I don't know if we noticed Pierce Brosnan not being doing hand-to-hand combat heavily. He's doing the fencing stuff, which is it's a little bit more, I don't know, polished or poised than a scuffle like that Daniel Craig would do. So I think you're right. I think it's either you go full gadget, silly, how do you enhance something if you're not doing, muscle work, quote unquote, as it were. And I go, but it's only 4 years later that Casino Royale comes out. So he could have just done a cool super spy, I don't know, grounded, intelligent. He deserved better. He deserved to have at least, as opposed to Roger Moore, heavy gadgets, silliness, dignified. I don't know if that's the right word, or just because he's so smart, so charming, still so sexy, always. I don't know, we can rely on him as opposed to gadgets or effects, if that makes sense. But yeah, I love him. I think I have him as I think he says, I don't know, I think he's really great at puns. I think he throws away puns. I think he knows that they're super cheesy when he says them. Just love him.
Yeah, so I agree with everything you guys said. I think even if they weren't going to reboot, I think this, as much as I agree, I think he deserved way better, because I think he has, and we'll talk more next week, but I think he has one great Bond movie and three Bond movies that vary depending on your Bond taste. You know what I mean? And I think he does deserve better. But I think this was a good place for him to end, because I don't know about you guys, but I could sort of see the age.
Yeah, there's a couple of scenes where you can notice that.
Yeah, and again, not a ding, not a slight. People get old, man. That's just that's the way it works. And I love Pierce Brosnan. I think I was so happy that we got to see him as James Bond. But yeah, I think this was a good choice to let this be his last one, even though I wish his last one was a bit smarter.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So as for him in this movie, I'll start us off. I really like his James Bond in this movie, even if he is a bit, getting a bit older. He's not as physical as he was in the other movies.
Mhm.
But I agree with Ginny. I mean, he is so charming, and his puns are there, and he's got this like cocky smarminess, but he's not he doesn't give off an asshole vibe. Like, I don't know, I can't even explain it, but even in this movie, as with the ups and downs we get, he is my rock in this movie. I find him to be a constant pleasure to watch. Yeah, what about you guys? What do you guys think overall about his performance for Bond?
I think he's really good in this movie. I think there's a lot of puns, which it seems like throughout now that, again, watching the four of them over the last 4 weeks, seems to be his Bond's thing. Like, there is a lot of puns and usual a lot of sexual and innuendo puns seems to be extra. So I mean, there's a lot of it in this movie, but without a pun, he nails it, I guess.
He sure does. He sure does.
He just does. And he still has like the suave thing going on. And there's less physicality because there's not as much hand-to-hand combat in this movie. And I'm pretty sure that was a choice that was made for him, or maybe, in collaboration with. He's pretty good. It seems like very easygoing in this movie too about a lot of things. So his Bond is just like at that point. He's just like, I can kind of do this in my sleep now. Not that he's mailing it in. I'm not saying it like that, but he's got this.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's actually, when they take, like, even as a Bond, he's easygoing. Like, they take him into torture. He's like, that's cool. Like, he gets out. They get him out 14 months later because they exchange him for Yao, the Zhao,
the most handsome henchman of all henchmen.
Is he like the most handsome?
Well, who else is there? Who else is a really good looking henchman that we've decided to ruin his face with diamonds?
That's
a very good looking. I was like, I remember being upset about that and going, oh my gosh, yeah, I remember. He's in a Fast and the Furious movie, and then like watching it and then going, oh no, they make him crazy Iceman. How does that happen?
He could have definitely worked for Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze. He totally could have.
Forget about it. He would have been. He would have been the Diamond Kid or something like that. He would have been his own thing.
Yeah. By the way, this is the first time we've seen Bond fail in the cold opening. By the way.
Yes,
he fails.
Like that. I like when Bond fails.
I forgot that was the reason that he was. I remember him being captured and tortured and everything, but I'm like, did he kind of like do it willingly or something like that? But like, no, he failed.
No,
he was captured.
He gets captured, and I don't think we said it, but like Moon gets killed, quote unquote.
They say he's dead, and I go, you didn't look for the body.
Right, exactly.
How do you know,
Ginny? How the diamonds things happen? Things happen is because Bond puts C4 in the diamond case.
Okay,
and he uses his watch. That's another Q branch thing. He uses his watch to blow it up. When that's what triggers the whole chase on the hovercraft through the mine. So so that's how he has the diamonds.
That's okay, because he comes back, and then and you see him next when they're trading him. He has it's in his face. Okay, and then it gets worse, or what happens?
Well, then he tries to do this gene therapy thing, right? Gives him a whole new.
He does too.
That's we follow him. So real quick, just to catch us up.
You're right,
Bond gets released. No, it's okay. Bond gets released, and he's traded for Zhao because MI6 thinks that Bond is leaking information, that he's cracked. It's part of the cover-up. And then we meet what I'm going to say is the worst part of this movie, which is Michael Madsen.
I've seen this movie.
I screamed. I was like, Michael Madsen.
And I'm pissed that I'm pissed. I'm pissed at myself for I'm pissed at the idea that I'm pissed that he's in this movie. Because I mean, Michael Madsen, I'm like,
I love Michael Madsen.
I love Michael Madsen. We all do.
Of course, but like, he serves no purpose in this movie.
He's just there to be gruff, and I guess he was supposed to fill the lighter position.
Oh man, this
Or
is
what's his face? The other dick
Joe
that
Don
we got rid
Baker,
of.
Jimbo.
Yeah, Jimbo over
Yeah.
there, like that douche. Like that's why maybe they were like, hey, we gotta. Well, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't available, and they're like, all right, let's just get Michael Madsen and just be Michael Madsen.
It actually took me out of the movie. There were
Really?
cameos in this that took me out of the movie. This is one of them where I was just like, I literally have a note. Michael Madsen? Question mark. Not my Bond movie. Like I just was not having it. But so he gets traded for Zhao. Zhao has all the diamonds in his face. They imprison Bond. Bond goes, haha, I'm going to stop my own heart.
sure. Okay.
Sure. I mean, I guess. Bruce Banner could have helped him out with it. I don't know. I mean,
was it the cult that did it? Was it the cult?
No, he like opted
just
to stop
himself.
it to fool them to come in and he could take them out.
Well,
Yeah.
well, he's
Yeah.
trained for that. You don't know how many times he's done that.
That's true. That I believe it more than some of the other stuff.
I mean, you know, I mean, whatever. I'm not even saying it's a bad thing. I'm just like, he stops his own heart. It's something we needed to talk about.
Yeah,
It's something we need to talk about.
I buy it more than surfing.
Yep. All right. Fair enough. On that timeline, we go. That's
the priority.
And then so then he escapes from captivity on a boat because you know M has like sold him up the river, and everyone thinks he's done this, and so he escapes. And he's all grizzled and like, you know, he's got a big beard, which I love Pierce Brosnan with his homeless hermit look. And then he like swims to China.
Yes. Yes, he does.
That's what happens.
I mean, that's what happened, right? I didn't like.
Oh no, it happened.
And then he goes to this hotel that they know him at, and they let him in, and they send him up a tailor. I'm guessing it's all on credit and lobster and all this stuff, and then he's all of a sudden he's hot Pierce Brosnan again, and shaved and everything. And then you find out that guy, like, and right here is where I'm going to say my first problem with this movie. It takes way more steps than it needs. Right? Because here we go. All right. Bond needs to get the information that Zhao is in Cuba, right?
Yeah.
Getting the genetic therapy thing. Why can't this guy Chang, who just runs the hotel, be a guy who informs? Why does he have to be working for the Chinese government and like they're videoing him, and are they trying to set him up in a honeypot trap with a masseuse?
You then know about the Korean government and or the North Korean government. I did laugh at that. I don't know. I just laughed that she was like, "I'm your masseuse," and he's like, "I'm not here." She's like, "I'm not that kind of masseuse," and he's like, "I'm not that kind of client." And he knows she's a spy, and he also knows that the concierge was an intelligence. That line was amazing, and I don't know why I laughed. I thought it was so great.
It was good.
It was so
good.
cliche.
I thought it was good.
It was like so smooth.
I like that line, but I also wanted her to go, all right, yes, you are. Let's get that straight. You are that kind of client.
That's what I was like. Again, in this day and age, I was like, clutching my pearls, going, "Oh no, she's not. She's just there to give you a massage, Bond. Take it easy." Like,
No, I completely saw that going. He's going to try to like make this happen, and I don't know. Am I like I don't remember 2002 and its morality that much. I was, I was partying a lot in my 20s, so I don't really remember.
I'm happy she had a knife and happy she was an assassin. He knew.
But I was watching it going, wait, is this supposed to be socially acceptable at the time, or what's going on here? So that brings us then to Cuba, and Zhao is getting this weird gene therapy done where they're gonna genetically recode him. And that leads us to the introduction of our first Bond girl, Halle Berry, as Jinx. So, Ed, what did you think of Jinx? What did you think of Halle Berry in this movie? I think we'll talk about her, and then we'll get back to Zhao, because we're leading up to him.
Yeah. I like Jinx. I actually think she's fun. she seems like she's just kind of like, again, kind of really, Halle Berry seems pretty comfortable in the role and like, along for the ride and just like whatever. She seems like she's having fun in the film. So that kind of sold me into it or whatever. There's a lot of puns after pun after pun that comes on, but I guess that's just this movie in general. So I don't blame her for that. But no, she pulls off the action well. I mean, Halle Berry can do action, and this is pre Academy Award winning.
She won it when she was filming this.
Right.
Oh wow, okay.
I think this is or maybe around the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because Monsters Ball that's Monsters Ball, right? That she won for.
But they didn't cast her. My mindset is always she won the Oscar and they cast her in this movie, but that's not the case. So they just, I don't know. Like, so
I felt like this was after.
Yeah, it came out after.
Yeah. So
it's crazy though. She's like a big star. She's like the biggest Bond, right?
Yeah.
I think so. It's my mindset. I think she's like the biggest at the time.
That got casted while she was being the Bond.
Right.
Yeah, she's definitely the biggest name. Because I remember when I heard she was going to be in the film, I'm like, really? They got like Halle Berry? Okay, that's kind of surprising. No, I like Jinx though. She's a lot of fun in this movie.
Ginny?
Yeah, she owns it. I was like, gosh, so charismatic. This is like when I watched Eternals and Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek were there. Me and my husband kept turning to each other going, don't you miss Salma Hayek? Don't you like love like a great movie star? I was like, I love Halle Berry. And she's like probably my favorite of American Bond girls. She is like, I think I used to think she was over the top, but I'm like, I don't know. She's just doing what the movie kind of wants her to do.
Yeah.
Which is be like super, I don't know, like, leather, I don't know, Bond girl action star. Yeah, so I think I can see how she can be kind of annoying, but I dig her.
Yeah, I like her a lot actually. Her first shot, I actually think this is a cool nod because that's like the Honey Rider from Dr. No coming out of the water with the knife, and so I actually really appreciated that. I like her character. I'm with you guys. It's like, yeah, she's over the top and ridiculous, but everything in this movie is over the top and ridiculous. But I actually like kind of like that this movie was toying with, and we actually do see this in the happen in the Craig run as well. But this movie is toying with giving James Bond a Bond girl that is his contemporary, right?
Yeah.
Like she's the NSA version of him. And the fact I made a note actually, like, wow, Halle Berry sleeps with James Bond, like after just meeting him.
Yeah.
And then like, as I'm watching, I'm going, oh, because she's the female James Bond. Of course she's insane. They got it on right away.
There it is.
She found him and hooked up with him, not knowing who he was, and didn't.
Right.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, she's definitely. And then afterwards is very dismissive about moving on with it too.
Yes.
Like, hey, James, that's cool. All right, high five, good job. We got that on. Maybe I'll see you again. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah.
Right. And I like that he wakes up and she's gone.
Yeah.
Like, so I dug that. I think this was because this movie has this not franchise, this run, the Pierce Brosnan run, I really believe has struggled with how do we keep James Bond contemporary and still feel like James Bond, you know what I mean? Because they do try the whole like he's a misogynist and it's called out by M and this and that, but I think this actually, I'm going to give this credit for being a bit more clever playing with that, because this isn't someone saying you're a misogynist, Bond, you're a dinosaur, you're this. This was kind of just the trope being turned on its head, and it's like you expect one thing and then you get the other, and it's like, oh no, she's just the female Bond and she's doing what he does, and that's it. And I really kind of thought that was clever. It's probably one of the most clever things in the movie.
That's what you need. That's all you need, kind of like to just indicate that. And that's great. Their love scene, like, again, gosh, I'm like, we are all desensitized. I was like, I remember seeing it for the first time, blushing, going like, oh my gosh, so intense. And then me watching it again, going, oh my gosh, so intense. How much like can we show?
I don't know. I've been binging because of grannies. I've been binging nothing but like superhero movies. And for the most part, with the exception of Peacemaker, which gets
Oh,
pretty
yes.
damn raunchy.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, with the exception of that, like I watch like sanitized stuff. So I was watching that yesterday, going, "Ooh, thank God my kid's not home."
We're
This is
all
getting
Victorian like ladies now. We've all turned into Victorian era ladies and clutching our pearls.
right, exactly. So we actually have a question from the boss man. I don't have to pay the baby, do I?
No, she's free. She's a cameo. Say hi.
No, but you can make a donation to
Right.
the baby fund. Just put it in my name, boss man. I'll take care of it. Trustworthy.
Jason, sure.
But and yeah, one more thing I thought was cool about Halle Berry, getting to the point where she was like, "Yeah, I don't care." When the second Bond girl, which is Frost, which is Gustav Graves, the villain's like second, and I think if anyone didn't see her turning like as the bad guy, then you're not paying attention to these movies.
No, not at all.
But I like that he sleeps with her, and she tries to throw that in Jinx's face, and Jinx goes like, Jinx doesn't give a fuck. Jinx is like, yeah, but like she says something like about his performance, not even a negative thing. Like she's looking to compare notes or something.
No,
like,
she says something. I think if I recall, she says, "Wow, I didn't know he was like that desperate or whatever."
Oh,
like,
that's it.
Yes,
That's
not
it.
really knocking him, but just like slapping her with it.
Slapping her. That was
good.
it. I didn't know he was that desperate, but I love that she just didn't care. Like,
No,
I don't.
I'd be like,
care.
I don't even know him, and then move on.
exactly.
Stop making this emotional.
Right. Look, I'm a professional here. I'm trying to do a job.
Obviously,
So-
you care.
Before we get to the villain, because we touched on her. What'd you guys think about Frost, the second Bond girl who starts off? She's an MI6 agent who is supposed to be infiltrating Graves' organization, and who eventually we find out has been working with him the whole time. She's the person who set Bond up in the beginning of the cold open. She's the person who has done all this Bond-nificent machinations against our hero. And we find out that she is with Graves because Graves helped her get an Olympic medal.
Yeah, I forgot she was an MI6 agent in the movie. I love that. Did you? I remember hearing that when Madonna says it. Madonna's like, "Oh, she really deserved the medal to win, but her opponent was
Like,
overdosed
OD'd on
anyway.
steroids.
So
Yeah,
it went to her." And then later, I was like, "Well, why did Miranda Frost turn? Why did she do it?" I was like, "Oh, the medal, of course."
In the medal, yeah. Any thoughts, Ed?
I totally forgot, by the way, that she was a Bond girl. Like I just didn't put it together who it was because like I know her mainly from like Gone Girl,
Yeah,
which like she's really evil in that.
yeah.
Jesus.
Oh God,
Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
she plays a good villain. I mean,
Well, much better in that one. And this, I think she's kind of
that was
like,
well written.
exactly. So again, we'll just say there's more talent there, not their fault. But there is something really bananas that happens with her at the end when she's fighting Jinx. She just comes out of nowhere
In a
wearing,
crop
like,
top.
Yes, in a sports bra.
Great crop top.
She was training on the plane. So wait a second. They decided to go on a plane and get away and do the master plan, and she's like, "Let me go work out."
To be prepared.
You thought she knew that Jinx and Bonds were getting on that plane, so she was like, "Let me get in my fighting gear." Because I'm watching this at Angie, and then she pops out of nowhere, and then Angie's like, "What the fuck is she wearing?" And
Yeah,
I
why
looked
would
at
she
her, I'm
wear
like,
that though? All the exposed skin.
What? Yeah, because at least when during that fight, Jinx like takes her.
Takes
she
all.
has this-
Her.
Yeah, well, which I can see.
Great.
Whatever. She's fighting and heavy, big ass coat, so she's like, "All right, let me get this thing off, and we're gonna fight." So I can understand that, but like, she just comes out of nowhere in like this gym outfit. It's just so weird because it makes no sense that happens. And I guess she slept with Bond just so she could take the bullets out of the gun.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what was up there.
I was
it was
like, wait, what?
So elaborate, just to convince him. It was a long con. It was such a long con.
It was a very long con.
But that whole thing happens like very fast. Like
I
the
know.
whole. So I don't even. How much of a con was this? You fooled him for 20 minutes, and like that was it.
Yeah, and like, what did you get out of it except for the bullets? Like,
Yeah, so you got to unload his gun. Unload the gun. Well, no pun intended.
To get that joke in.
Oh, she unloaded his gun, all right.
Yes. And that was another thing too. So like Bond is in the middle of this like chase because he's like getting chased before that, and he's fighting these people. So then runs into her. They pretend like they're a couple so they can be diverted, but those people know who she is. So
is the longest of cons.
Yeah. So then they stop, and then Jinx is doing her thing while this is all going on, and then he just kind of like gets dressed afterwards and continues his mission. I was like, wait, time out, sex. All right, cool. Right, now we're back. Let's go. That whole thing is just so convoluted. It's so weird.
That I actually don't think she needs to be in this movie at all.
No.
Or she does, but smaller, or like just give her super awesome fight scenes.
Jenny, you're 100% correct. She's in this movie, so Halle Berry has somebody to punch at the end of the movie.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
To totally take out. But I'm like,
that's it. Well, she could have punched anybody else. Who cares? Like, she didn't have to fight. It didn't have to be like a female adversary. She could have beat the crap out of some dude.
She doesn't look very 60s. She looks very like throwback Bond girl to me. Yeah. Very like, I don't know, like blonde, Hitchcock kind of blonde almost. That's when I was like, oh, she's such a baby in this movie, Rosamund Pike. She's like, I don't know. I think I know how young she is. I'm like, oh, you're so little.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't really love her in this movie. I think she's a very good actress. She's not really working with much here. And speaking of, what's a good segue for this? Let's just go. Speaking of Frost, let's get into Gustav Graves, aka Moon. I mean, let's just say it right now. Like, Moon doesn't die, and he goes through this gene conversion thing and becomes a middle-aged British guy, and
on purpose, not because he was scarred or damaged. That's what I always remembered. But like, no, that's not.
No, right? I think Zhao is getting it because he's scarred.
Yeah. Why did he get it? Why did Moon get it? Why did Moon go full white face?
Don't know.
I think there's a lot of questions around this though, because was he that scarred and damaged so he had to get something, and then he decided, because he does say to Bond at one point that he based his whole persona on Bond to like mock him.
I do love that.
I love.
Yeah.
No, that's a cool idea. That is a really cool idea.
Because weren't you watching this going like, God, he's so British. He's like so grotesque and like, ugh, just like the smarmiest. Like that's how he sees Bond, right?
Exactly.
Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, why? He didn't say that. He didn't say like, oh, I was terribly scarred, so I had to go get the donor.
No, he doesn't really mention it at any point. You just kind of, I guess you assume it.
I guess it's to enact this plan, which is, and I'm going to talk a lot of shit about this plan, but I'm going to say right off the bat, this is a great plan because it's got a fucking space laser, guys. It's got a space laser.
Laser.
We're
going to aim the space laser at the Ice Palace.
Is it powered by diamonds? And it's powered by diamonds?
Oh my God.
So much diamonds.
I mean, so like
diamonds
this is the
all forever.
Exactly. This is like James Bond on crack. Like, you know what I mean? Or like on coke, you know? So having said that, what is this plan now? So he becomes Gustav Graves for reasons and makes millions somehow.
In 14 months.
In 14 months.
14 months he happens to build an empire.
That's kind of crazy.
Become like, it's completely insane.
He builds an empire in 14 months, and people actually believe he's real instead of like, hey, where did this Gustav Graves come from?
I thought about that. Right? I was like, where are the background checks? Although Moon and Frost were on a fencing team, because he does say that, because Moon was like, he's like, oh,
Right.
I studied at Oxford and Harvard,
Yeah.
so I'm equipped in
It's
Britishness.
so we know that he knows, like, because he grew, he studied. Moon studied in Britain. That's where this all comes from, of which I actually like. His father, General Moon's like, I thought it would bridge the gap
Yeah.
between our people, and instead this is what happens. But like, all right, so then he in 14 months amasses a fortune, builds a space laser
Mhm.
Yes.
in
Builds a space
14
laser.
months while amassing a fortune
And no one
and an
knows.
ice palace.
An ice palace.
Which, by the way, what was the deal with the ice palace? He does for this demonstration to show everybody Icarus, and then he's like, I'm going to eventually turn the laser on the ice palace and drown Jinx.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
Yeah. It was a backup plan.
And Zhao didn't know this plan because Zhao drives in there after Bond and ends up like drowning in this anyway.
Ugh.
Did they not tell Zhao the plan? Did everyone else know? They were like, listen. Yeah, did they have the meeting? And Zhao
what was their
like,
relationship? Were they friends, brothers?
Yeah, they were really close friends.
Really
yeah. And I don't think Zhao. I think this is bad writing, and not Zhao being expendable. Because if Zhao is expendable, no way in hell that Graves Moon would be paying for that genetic reprogramming stuff.
He went through a lot to get Zhao.
Yeah,
he went through so much to get him.
To help Zhao out.
Wasn't expendable. Yeah, no, I think maybe they had the villain meeting. They discussed the plan. Zhao maybe went to the bathroom and didn't come back from his car.
And he was like,
guys, I gotta use the bathroom. Don't tell me if I miss anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then nobody like, listen, fuck this guy. Let's just go ahead and not tell him. And that's it. Come on.
You know, every time he looks at the sun, the diamonds, they glare. We just let him die.
Do.
Yeah, it's so annoying. He doesn't want to like get it cleared up or anything.
Oh, what's that great? Jinx had a good line about the expensive acne. I was like,
yeah, I like that one. And then so Gustav Graves and Zhao and the Ice Palace. Where was I? Oh yeah, okay. So then the end of the plan. So this is like, you know, step one: make billions of dollars. Step 2, build a space laser. Step 3, topple capitalist imperialism and conquer the world for North Korea.
Profit, sure. You don't know. You don't know what the plan is. It's crazy. It's crazy over there.
It's a wild plan.
That's why I'm saying this is the best and worst plan of any Bond movie, because it's so grandiose that it's like, yeah, I'll watch this. But when you really think about it for a second, it's like, the fuck's going on here?
Go big or go home. And that's what a crazy way to end a Brosnan like movie series.
What about what else he does with the space laser? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and in front of a lot of people, by the way, try to kill Bond with the space laser.
Yeah.
And that leads to the surfing.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right.
No, we're not.
Well, it's lucky we were surfing in the beginning of the movie, wasn't it? Wasn't it nice and handy?
Very convenient that happened. Jason, I'm just gonna let you get away with not discussing the surfing.
No, we got to talk about the surfing. Yeah, so Bond is racing around in this, I don't know, bobsled car. Like, I don't even know what the hell that is.
Yeah, I don't know, and I should know because the Winter Olympics are going on right now, and I'm sure they use it at some point. So,
but like,
I don't know what the fuck it is, but
I think it's like it's another Q branch invention, but like it's dark Q branch. Like, I think this is like Gustav Graves' thing, like, because it's not like a bobsled, like it's like a car bobsled
that he's driving.
Yeah, something like that. But then he also beats, because remember, Gustav Graves pulls up in that thing, though.
And he's like, fix it.
Yeah, and he's telling him to fix it, but then Bond beats his time, and he tells the random like IT guy tells him that, and he's just like, gives him a look like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about right now? Which I was thinking the same thing, like, what are you doing right now?
Look, great movie moment, terrible career move.
Yes.
If that guy wasn't killed 20 minutes later or 10 minutes, or whatever it is he's killed, then he never would have gotten ahead in that corporation.
No.
But yeah, so then he's like shooting at Bond through the space laser, and this causes Bond to go over the cliff. And you want to walk? Ed, this is your favorite scene. Walk us through this scene, Ed.
Oh, he pretty much looks like he was going to cause a tsunami by the craziness he's doing with the space laser, and then it causes this huge tidal wave with huge blocks of ice, and then Bond resurfaces from this thing with part of the bobsled car thingamajig, and he's riding it with a parachute he's riding a tidal wave with some of the worst CGI you will ever see in your life.
So much CGI.
So bad.
And it's 2002, and I understand that, but like there is better CGI before this.
Yeah.
There's better CGI for harder things in this movie. I'm just saying, like the car, his car with the whole invisible thing, that looks actually really cool. But you couldn't get surfing. You couldn't. That was too on the table.
We shouldn't have had a 50-year-old Pierce Brosnan surfing.
Jenny,
bing, bing, bing.
You win, because that's the answer. That should have
Maybe
never
Daniel
happened.
Craig. Daniel Craig, a 50-year-old Daniel Craig probably could have done it, but maybe not a 50-year-old.
Yeah, because he's like, you can tell he's just like struggling to get through it or whatever. And it looks really, really bad. And it pisses me off. It was like it's the most over the top thing in this movie. And we're talking about giant space lasers. We're talking about cars that appear to be invisible. Okay. At one point, we're talking about Bond swimming under frozen water and not dying, just with like a little tube thing.
Yeah, that was crazy. He not even a sweater, my friends. Not even a sweater. He just dives into the freezing water under ice. That man should be dead.
People are just surviving ice water.
Dude,
which makes me not think it's ice water.
Right.
I forget where I am. I forget where I'm.
That is the craziest thing of someone who should have died from hypothermia since like Clark Kent gave up his powers in Superman 2 and walked home in a members only jacket, which pisses me off every single time because he should have died. And that's exactly what we're getting here. But he's like underwater. So it is so crazy that happens.
It's madness. It's madness. So all right, let's get into some Q Branch stuff. So we talked about the surfboard, right? We get the VR sunglasses in this movie.
Well, what's the point of them?
Like, why do we get the VR except for the joke at the end,
which I love?
Which, like, I mean, hey,
it infuriates me.
VR porn is a thing. I mean, they were ahead of their time.
Very vivid. It's very.
Yeah. The first time around, I can see it looked clever because it did. You were like, oh shit, wait, everyone shot an MI6. Like, what's going on? They kind of did set that up. At the end, were you thinking at any points like, wait a second, they'd end this run with Bond and Moneypenny like finally giving in? No, you didn't think that for 2 seconds.
I didn't. No.
Didn't you? I kind of did. I forgot because the first part that got me, the VR got me, where he was like shooting, and then he was like, "Oh, it's like just like a test run." I was like, "Oh man, what a kind of cool thing to do." And the end, I was like, "Where is this going?" He's just gonna fake her out and be like, "No, I have Jinx like waiting for me." I just forgot this whole movie. I don't remember this part, so I was like, oh, "They kind of hooked up though." It's kind of like fan service for Ginny, for me, for myself. You know.
So it's Bond porn, is what it is.
Yeah. Fan fiction. This is Bond fan fiction for me.
There you go. So we actually get the classic jetpack from I believe it's Live and Let Die. Oh, Thunderball. You're right, Thunderball. Yeah. We get the classic jetpack from Thunderball. We get the knife shoe. So I kind of really dig like the Q stuff in this movie. That's just in the background. And the car.
Thumbs up, 2 thumbs up for the car. Badass again. I know. I really enjoyed it. The Brosnan run has some really great Bond cars, and they actually get used. Not just like, hey, look, it's there, and then nothing happens. For the most part, because the world is not enough. No, it just gets cut in half after 2 minutes.
Yeah, I actually really dig the invisible car stuff a lot.
Yeah, it was, and also Zhao has one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think the villain, and I don't recall that ever happening either, where the villain has their own Q Branch like car, and they kind of just had that. I like that whole chase on the ice, and it was pretty nuts.
Yeah, for sure. Same here. And again, that's why I have such feelings about this movie, because, like, yeah, should they be out in the ice in an ice palace? No, that's insane. But they are, and that's a cool scene where they're chasing each other.
Yeah, they're just like firing missiles at each other and machine guns shooting right at you, almost point blank range. And you're like,
it's
whatever,
fantastic.
Man. Like, it's a lot of fun. It is.
And then we get the sonic ring, which breaks like shatterproof glass, which that comes in handy twice.
I love that. I love that one.
Really good.
Efficient.
So, yeah, I very efficient. Yeah. And then the bad guys, because they have like evil Q branch, they have these like electric gloves that they shock people with.
Yes, but the oh man, the CGI.
Not great. Yeah. Not great again.
Yeah, no,
I think they spent all their money on the car.
They did.
Yeah, I think they did. That and Pierce Brosnan, because he was up for contract negotiation.
It's true. And Halle Berry may have cost us.
She probably.
Yeah,
I'm sure she did.
X-Men Halle Berry.
Yeah. That's true. This is like,
she's a hot star
for sure. What did you guys think of like John Cleese's Q? Like, he was R last week. He was kind of a throwaway joke. I think he was actually approaching the role more seriously this time. What did you guys think of him as Q?
I always think he has more to do. Or he's in more of it than he is. He has like one scene.
Yeah. No, Q only ever gets one scene, right? I don't think we see him a lot, except for the Craig era.
Right.
Yeah, Craig era definitely gives Q a lot more to do.
Yeah.
And also gives Moneypenny more to do, too. I like John Cleese's Q in this movie. This is with the Q I remembered him as. Like I said, I totally forgot he was in The World Is Not Enough and that whole, like, R joke thing. I just thought it was like, I remembered him just being, I thought they just recast it and kept it going. But, I like him in this. He seems a lot more Q-like, and even has a line where he's like, Bond, I wish I could make you disappear. Like, he is Q in this movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's got his little resentment towards Bond. They're just, like, messing with him and stuff. So, it's cool. And like you said, his whole scene with all the throwback stuff, because this was the 20th Bond movie. So they were doing it as kind of like an anniversary thing where there were a lot of callbacks to previous films. Yeah, they tried to slide those in there, which is what I wondered why all the diamond stuff. Were they like trying to just say diamonds were forever?
That's like, kind of crazy. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. But that's kind of like, here's a club, here's your head, bang.
Yes. Yeah, but like we get the Halle Berry, like we get
coming out of the water,
which that's a great nod. That's a great.
Yes, no, there are some cool ones, and I like the Thunderbolt jetpack and Bond asking, "Hey, this thing still works?" What makes you wonder for a second, like, wait a second, canon? Are we saying this is the same guy? I guess maybe, I don't know. They don't do it often.
No, they don't. I mean, it's every now and then. Like there's a weird moment. We'll get to it in the row. I think it's Octopussy, or it's one of the weird Roger Moore ones where it starts off with him visiting the grave of his dead wife from the Lazenby movie, and then killing Blofeld with a Thanos-like helicopter.
Yes, the Thanos copter.
It does. It looks like the Thanos copter. When we get there, you'll see what I mean.
That's great.
All right. So what other notes you guys want to talk about before we wrap up? Anything we didn't get to? I'm gonna look through my notes because I'm pretty sure I have a couple things.
The ending scene with that really bad pun with they're going for more sexual in the puns about leave it in, don't leave it in. It fits perfectly. Leave it in, and then when we get to see what they're talking about, like. What?
I know. And your belly button?
Yeah, not that I at any point was I ever thinking like, oh, this is really what's happening. But like, the diamond and the belly button.
Is that what you want to do? Diamonds are very like, it was like, oh, look at the money, but we have to give it back. We're not gonna actually, so I just lay in it like money bags that swim in coins,
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I completely forgot about that moment, but while I was watching that yesterday, I was thinking those diamonds are so small. You literally could lose one or two of them by moving, and then you owe the government a lot of freaking money.
I have a diamond here on my ring, and it just hurt. I feel like it hurts. I feel like it would poke me because she's laying on them. They're laying on the diamonds.
Yeah, it's
not
so...
money. I don't know. It hurts.
And then the line that like ends the movie, when it's just something like, you're so, I don't know how good you really are. I'm just like,
I'm good.
I'm so good. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are we doing now? Just end the movie now.
I think I was just happy it didn't end on a weird Christmas sex pun. I mean, to be honest.
Jason, having said all that, you're right. We saw worse last week. So they could have just been speaking in tongues to each other. Like, blah, 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 blah. And I would have been like, it's better. It doesn't matter.
It's better. Because you know what? I probably would have clocked that as something that bothered me if I didn't just watch the end of The World Is Not Enough, because that was
now we
good.
know. Now you know.
Now we know.
I just have to say, so the side effect of the DNA transfer, I'm fascinated by the whole DNA.
Yes.
I'm just fascinated, and I don't think we could ever do this again in another movie ever again. But so he goes, the side effect of me getting the transplant, Moon says it. Moon, who's now Gustav Graves, says, I don't sleep. I have insomnia permanently. I don't sleep, but I have a dream machine that I can go in for an hour, and I'm like, good. I heard that line, and I go, a dream machine. I was like, what? And then, does it exist? Does it like? Do you think it exists?
Yeah, that's a great
But what is it? Like, it fake sleep? What is it?
Yeah, because I think the whole thing is because medically you have to have X amount of REM sleep where you have to dream or you'll go insane.
Right. That's never not straight. Yeah.
Right. But like how this machine works, how it forces your brain to trick it into being in REM sleep, I have no idea. And
that's pretty cool.
Who created this and who invented it? Like I have no idea. Hand wave, exactly.
Massive hand waves.
It was so elaborate. It was so clear. He was like, my dream sleep. That was a good dream sleep I had for, I don't know.
Again, though, this movie takes about 3 steps more than it has to.
Dude, we don't need to know.
Like, why do we need a dream machine? Why does he have to not sleep? Isn't the deformity enough that he went from being a North Korean to an English guy? Like, isn't that enough deformity for this poor man?
It's not enough, like, chaos. I don't know. Insanity. Yeah.
There was something else I wanted to point out with this movie that really, and it's not about the story at all. It's about the directing choice. Mm-hmm. That whole speed up slow motion thing that happens every once in a while for no reason whatsoever, it pisses me off to no end. Because it happens around things that don't require it at all. There's a point where Zhao turns around and it's like, oh wait, let's go in slow motion. For no reason. And then there's other scenes where it just like speeds the things up and it didn't really save any time for anything, like why are we doing this? And it just keeps happening throughout the movie. And it adds nothing. Like you said, Jason, like this movie does things for no reason and it makes things harder on itself and it's completely unnecessary. And yeah, that's on the director, Lee Tamahori. Well, I was just trying to look at what else this person directed.
Well,
it's a New Zealand film. Oh, wait, yes. Maybe things make sense now. Okay. Triple X State of the Union.
Oh my God. I'm not even kidding you. I did not know that. I didn't know he was the director for that movie. That is insanity. Was that the newest one? Which one was that?
That was the Ice Cube one.
Oh, that's Ice Cube.
That's the Ice Cube one. Well, not even the fucking Vin Diesel one. The Ice Cube one.
I should have said like Fast and the Furious this movie, but no, it's like because Vin Diesel travels to many a location. It's his weird. It's his I don't know version of Bond.
If the Fast and the Furious is like this movie, I might like the Fast and the Furious.
Now they are a little bit. And oh my God, you guys. They wouldn't do the DNA swapping. They'd be a little bit more grounded, but there'd be like we bring people back from the dead. I don't know, like
Wait,
many
is resurrecting the
mutations.
dead more grounded than DNA swapping?
Yes, yes, it is.
Maybe. This person, Lee Tamor also did Along Came a Spider with Morgan
The
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman movie?
Yeah,
Yep, that was
I
his.
like that.
That was his film right before this,
that's
Oh,
weird.
I
What
like
a
that
weird
movie actually.
character for Bond, though.
and a Nicolas Cage film next in 2007.
Oh no.
I don't think I know that one.
And there was another movie called The Edge with Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah, plus there's just a bunch of other crap that I've never heard of. So not too much.
Guys,
All right.
it is a triple X movie a little bit.
This absolutely is. And you know what? I can't believe we almost got out of this conversation without talking about Madonna and the fencing scene, because we said we would talk about it later and then we forgot.
Yes.
Almost forgot to get
Let's
back
not
to
do
it.
that.
So, guys, what the fuck is Madonna doing in this movie?
She's saying the title song. That's it. That's all I got for you.
She's officially a Bond girl. Did she want it, do you think? I bet she wanted to be in the movie and she was like, I'll do the song if I get to have a cameo.
Probably, yeah. That sounds about right.
Why didn't she have a
But she takes me. I don't know about you guys, and I'll turn it over to you guys. But she is like Mr. Blonde, right? Michael Madsen. She takes me right out of the movie. And I think like I don't mind big stars being in big roles in these Bond movies,
No.
but when you start giving me cameos of like not non-actors, because Madonna's not a bad actor. I think she's done some good work, but like I don't need a cameo of her in this. Michael Madsen's a very good actor who is doing nothing in this movie. Like
yeah.
when you're just giving me these weird cameos, like I don't understand what they're doing here.
Yeah, it is totally unnecessary. It probably was something, I don't know, the director just doing somebody a favor or something. I don't know. She has no purpose of being in this film whatsoever.
So no, it's all I know is the one line that she has, which is so weird. And maybe, I don't know, maybe cut Miranda Frost out and make that character, just combine the two of them, because she has
Right.
a line that what's he say? Because he's hitting on her and she says, oh gosh, I'm not, oh my gosh, it's something, what it sounds like is like, I'm not interested in men. And I go, oh, is she a lesbian? And then, but we don't do anything with it, and she just walks away. And I was like, okay. So
well, no, he makes a comment back to her
Okay.
saying something about he's known for keeping his tip up or something like that.
Right.
Oh, right.
And but she's like, she seems just, oh, okay. I thought she was like,
She's like, can you do me? I came undone. But then like at the end, he's like
yeah,
trying to like close the deal, and she's like, I'm not interested. I was like, okay.
yeah. It was weird.
Yeah,
Like a lot of the shit in this movie is weird.
Yeah, very. And I'm gonna say this: I loved the fencing scene. She was
It was a good
unnecessary,
Right.
but that is an awesome action scene.
Yeah.
And I forget how brutal that scene gets. Where like not brutal, but in the sense like it starts where they're like fencing with the epee, I think it's what it's called, and then they go for the sabers, and they're like, "All right, first one the blood, bitches. We're going to hell tonight,"
Yeah.
and they're throwing things over like. That was an awesome like set piece for this movie.
Oh, and then Miranda Frost had a really funny line at the end where they're done the fight, and he's like, "Well, you won, Bond. I'm not like no hard feelings." And Gustav walks away, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll just like cover this with the club.
Yeah.
I'll
Right.
talk it over because you ruined everything."
Because they're knocking down suits of armor.
No.
Eddie, any other thoughts on the fencing stuff?
No, it was a really good scene. It's probably one of the best action scenes in the movie.
Agreed.
But the less over the top, because it gets us more over the top.
Yeah.
Once we get
that's
to the Ice
grounded.
Palace. Yeah, and I agree with you about the Madonna stuff. Kind of does take me out of it. But whatever. It wasn't one of my biggest nitpicks in this movie.
Yeah, it's.
But it's not good though. It's definitely worth knocking it for it.
It's the thing is, it distracts me, and
Yeah.
and that's the thing is, I'm not saying I think this is a great Bond movie, but I don't think it's terrible. But I'm gonna have to when there are things that glaringly distract me from the plot,
Mhm.
I have to call it out. And then like her and Michael Madsen, and again, I think it's just because it's cameos of people that have nothing to do with Bond movies, and they have nothing to do in this movie. If you were telling me that Michael Madsen was the new Felix Leiter, and he was this gruff, well, we're gonna clean house and this and that, and he actually had something to do in this movie, I would have been okay with it. But it was like he didn't, and that's not what happened, you know.
I remember Michael Madsen having more to do in this movie. He really
had nothing to
in this.
do.
He is absolutely pointless.
Yeah, he does not need to be here. Actually, Madonna has more of a purpose than he does.
Sure does. She explains
Yeah.
stuff. She has some exposition dropping.
Right. That's
But-
how we find out about Frost and the metal, right?
Yeah, but then I thought Michael Madsen was going to turn. I was like, oh, he's here. Oh, definitely. This is going to be oh my gosh, I don't know, just American Bad, or I don't know. So many double crossing.
All right, so I guess anything else? Anything? I have nothing else. I've tapped out of everything I wanted to discuss.
I'm done surfing. I'm good.
All right, so but guys, a freaking space laser! Come on, that's awesome!
And
It was a
diamonds.
diamonds and a space laser. All right, so let's go around. Ed, I'm going to start with you. Then we'll go Ginny. Then we'll go me. Do you think that Die Another Day was a successful mission in the Pierce Brosnan era or not?
Tough one because I wasn't bored at all. I was actually entertained. I was interested in what the hell was going to happen next because I was wondering how far over the top this was going to keep going. It's a terribly written movie. I'll definitely say that. So from a critical view, I would say it was a failure, but I think since I was entertained, I have to just barely give it the success, but not by a lot. This isn't going to be a Bond movie where I'm going to be like, I'm going to pop in a Bond movie. This is not the one I'm going to choose. Not even from this run, not even from this, but we've seen worse Bond movies that we've covered on this show already. And not just World Is Not Enough. This movie is actually, I think this movie is more entertaining than some of the Daniel Craig run. I can't believe I'm saying these words, but I'm saying it. I never thought when we started this, I never thought I was going to say that. But yes, Die Another Day, I would put over Spectre because I didn't even think of saying fuck you movie once tonight. So therefore, success. And I didn't pass out and not want to go back like Quantum of Solace. Quantum of Solace, it was like not falling asleep wasn't such a bad thing. It was okay. Even, and again, being that I've seen the movie multiple times, so I was able to speak about it. But no, I have to barely give it I think the pros outweigh the cons barely for entertainment value versus it is not a good movie. It's definitely not, but at least it's entertaining.
All right, awesome. Not good, but entertaining. But entertaining is, hey, movies should be entertaining.
Yes, I mean, I told you the Blacklight movie I saw with Liam Neeson. As much as I love seeing Liam Neeson kick ass, that movie sucked. It was really bad. And I've seen just about every other Liam Neeson Taken movie because, Ginny, full disclosure, the Taken movies don't stop at 3 for me. They're any movie that Liam Neeson is
no.
You know what I'm thinking. It's any movie that Liam Neeson is kicking ass in.
Yeah.
That's not Batman Begins. That's a Taken movie. That franchise is like 20 movies deep for me.
And they're all awesome.
They're mostly awesome. Just give me him kicking ass, and I'm all about it.
It's a great way to view that. It's great.
Why not? I'm telling you right now. I could I turned to my wife, and I was just like, "Oh shit! There's a Liam Neeson movie coming out. We're definitely going to see it on opening night, right?"
Taken 7.
This is Taken 7, Blacklight. That's it. That's what it's called. So that's just not entertaining. So, but yeah, I mean, Dying of the Day was entertaining, so why not?
Awesome. All right, Ginny, success on this foray or failure?
I know. I kind of have to say it's a success for me because it is so crazy. This is like a 13-year-old wrote it, kind of. With certain lines were like a 13-year-old like must have been like, man, I have the best idea for a Bond movie. So smart, and no one's ever gonna think of it. Got a laser, and it's like 2002 though, and we're like well beyond this. It's like it's just kind of nuts. But it's not, again, I'm entertained, and it's 2 hours long, but it feels faster just because we're going into it, we're jumping into it. I hated it when but again, I was wanting something classier, something more traditional, a little less triple X, but I'm also a fan of the Fast and the Furious series. So this is just the sprinkling of that on my Bond movie. And yeah, some of the stuff is just so nuts. And again, we'll never get this again. This is kind of, I was saying to you, just whether you like it or not, you're not going to get a movie like this again, just with the craziness. And man, we ruined Rick Yoon's face. That was pretty terrible. We like gave him like white eyebrows and like blue contacts, but you know what? That's fine. Pierce is very so charming, and I give it a pass. I dig it.
All right, excellent. I'm gonna say this. So this movie has some bad CGI. It is terribly written. I don't really understand the plot as it stands because I think there are a lot of holes in it. Having said all of that, this is a fucking success, guys. I mean, like, this is stupid. I'm not like, I'm gonna use this analogy. All right, if I was at either of your houses and you said, Jason, we're gonna watch 5 to 10 Bond movies and you're choosing them, this would not breach those 5 to 10. I would not think. But if any of you said, hey, you know what we're gonna do this afternoon? We're gonna have a couple beers and we're gonna watch Die Another Day. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, we are. I mean, yeah. My biggest problem with the Pierce Brosnan era, at the time anyway, was they always felt like they were trying to be more American action movies and less like James Bond espionage movies. I think I stand by that for the most part. I just mind it less, but I think this one really pushes that boundary. Like, we're getting stars. We are getting American cameos. We are like, we're like really into this. And I just think it goes, it's really fun, but it goes, again, it's like 2 or 3 steps too far. Like, if I were going to make this movie, how I would make this movie, I would get rid of the character of Frost, right? I would make Moon the villain and Graves the contact. And you don't know that, like, you think Moon is dead, and you think Graves is just this guy, and you find out, like, they're lovers or something. Right? Like, so you have that, like, and that's the twist. That's the surprise. Because I think the actor that played Moon was awesome. And I like the guy who played Graves, and I like what they were trying to do. But just the whole plot of, like, I reinvent myself in 14 months, build a deadly space laser, and conquer the world for North Korea. That's a ridiculous plot.
Or maybe it would have been better if there was a person that was Gustav Graves, and he kind of like took his face.
Right. That's something. No? Yeah, that makes Jenny. A lot more sense.
Thank you, Jenny. Jason, Jason for a second. You got me right away. I think that would have been a better plot.
That technology is super real and exists. So
there you
that's
go.
Absolutely true.
It could make a tall man look short, a short man look tall. You just got to swap the faces.
Yeah, that's all.
Everything.
Everyone's fooled. I mean, it's
hairlines.
Is that not how it works? No.
I think it is. All right. I think that's a good place to end. So that's all right. So that is Face Off.
I actually love that movie.
I have to admit,
I admit it. I do.
The reason I didn't catch on that quickly is because I've actually never seen that movie.
No.
Yeah, I know. I'm missing out. I have to
Deja
watch it. I've never
vu.
seen it.
Oh my god, I actually love that movie.
I'm
It's
sure
another
I would love
insane
it too.
movie, but
That's-
Yeah, but maybe you know what? Maybe we'll do a very special 00 deep dive when we talk about Face Off.
That's kind of a
Wow.
Bond movie. That's like its own weird.
that's the way you could have fixed Die Another Day. You could have
Yeah.
just had them swap faces of some sort, and I would have bought it more than gene therapy.
I actually believe that 100%. Yeah, you cut out the gene therapy, cut out the face, like make it a face swap or taking over some identity or something,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I don't know, something. Just give me something that isn't like
Mental something. Yeah.
right, exactly. But all right, no, that's the end of James. Pierce Brosnan is James Bond. That's the end of our Brosnan run. Join us next week for our Brosnan recap, our debrief. We're going to rate the Brosnan films. We're going to rate the Bond girls. We're going to rate the songs, all the stuff that we rated for Daniel Craig. And then I figure we'll start rating the Bond movies in conjunction, in the whole set. So we'll figure I'll ask you guys for next week to put together a list of the Brosnan Bonds from your favorite to least favorite, and then all of the Bonds we've watched from your favorite to least favorite, not counting Jimmy Bond from the 50s, and not counting what we're going to do next week after we debrief, which is the bizarre Casino Royale from 1966 or 67, starring Peter Sellers as James Bond, starring Orson Welles as the villain, starring David Niven as another James Bond. It's Woody Allen is Jimmy Bond, James Bond's nephew from America. Guys, you are in for I'm not going to say you should drop acid to watch this movie, but you should probably drop acid to watch this movie. It's crazy. And I'm going to be sending you guys a link or something where you can watch it for free. I'm working on that.
Hey, by the way, Rick stumbled upon this movie and didn't know what it was, and thought it was an actual James Bond movie. And he called me and was like, "What the fuck am I watching right now? Did you see Casino Royale?" And I started talking about the Daniel Craig movie. He goes, "Wait, what the fuck movie are you talking about?" And then we had the whole conversation. Oh, okay.
Did he watch the full thing?
I know he tapped out halfway through.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, because I would love for Rick that would be the perfect James Bond quote unquote movie for Rick to come on and guest on this show.
I can talk to him. I'll see if I can convince him to finish
Talk to him. See if you can convince him to finish it. All right. So thank you for joining us. If you like this show and you're looking for more pop culture entertainment, you could join us for Granny's Peach Tea, which is a show that myself and Ed do, where we cover everything comic book related. Ed, you want to set us up? What are we doing this week? I actually forgot. I was I was so focused on this show. What are we doing this Friday?
Oh, all right. So yeah, this Friday night at 8:30, we'll be back. We're going to be opening by talking about the Super Bowl trailers that dropped from Marvel. We'll be talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which we'll be dissecting the crap out of that because everyone on the internet apparently has done so. Is Deadpool in the poster? Is he not in the poster? Who the hell knows? We'll see. We'll also be talking about the Moon Knight trailer that dropped. Our show for the week will be the season finale of Peacemaker, which drops on HBO Max tomorrow. So you can check that out and come check out our show Friday night. And our movie of the week is a film that Jason has in his top 5 favorite films of all time. Some say is the best comic book film of all time. Most seem to agree it is the best Batman film of all time. It is none other than Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight. So, big show for us this week. Can't wait to talk about it. We are counting down the rewatch of the Batman films. We got this, Dark Knight Rises next Wednesday, and we'll be back in our regular slot. And then we have the Batman. So, can't wait.
Yeah, we got good stuff coming up. And yeah, top 5, guys. Top 5. I love this movie. I mean, I'm not even bearing the lead here, man. I'm excited. I'm so excited to talk about it. And also, wait, we've gotten, everyone who follows Granny's Peach Tea, we've gotten to season 2 of Baywatch Nights. And oh boy, yes, do I have a recap for Baywatch Nights for everyone. So please join us for that. Even if you don't like comic books, join us for the Hasselhoff talk. If you don't like Hasselhoff talk, but you like Star Wars, you can join Tim and Ed on Shooting the Sith. Have you guys covered the last episode of Book of Boba Fett yet?
Full disclosure, Tim, I'm waiting on you. The finale was last week. There are no more episodes.
Yeah.
Let's go. Get with it, buddy. Let's go. Let's talk about this finale already.
Yeah, all right, let's set it up. And look, I'll be on that. I'll be doing some Akbar Fakbar, hopefully. And I actually am up to date in the Book of Boba Fett, so I can actually join that conversation.
Nice.
If you're not into any of this geeky goodness and you like some dirty bare knuckle fighting, you can join Rick at Old Dirty Fighting, where he talks about boxing, bare knuckle fighting,
MMA, boxing. Whenever two people are fighting, he's talking about it.
That's right. Whenever two people have put fisticuffs up, Rick is there. If you like wrestling, speaking of fighting, you can join Tim and Eric and Just Too Sweet. I know Jada and Kyle have been coming back. I know they did Scream recently. I don't know if they've done anything after that. We got Unsportsmanlike Conduct. If you're into the football, put it in the books. And Empire 161 show with the Mets and Yankees respectively. I'm only lumping them in now because I know it's not baseball season. We Stomped You Out, which is the Giants. And if you don't like any of that, but if you want to get an eclectic thing, if you want to hear about like a little A to Z, you can join Eric and Tim on the A to Z show, where they cover everything from Albert Fish to the Zodiac Killer.
Well done.
That's right. Thank you.
Well
I went serial killer on that one.
Zodiac Killer.
Albert Fish, by the way, one of the scariest guys in the world. Look him up. He's a scary man. All right. So thank you for listening. Join us next week for the 60s Trip Fest Casino Royale and our debrief on Pierce Brosnan. All right. Have a great one, everyone.
I'm invincible.